Please note that the views and opinions expressed are of the host and not of Lady J Media. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spitfire Poetry Shutdown. Excuse me. I am your host, John Hansboro. We have a special guest on today, Miss Ava Smith. Say hello to everyone, Ava. Make sure, okay, your mic is unmuted. Yes, this is Ava Smith, guys. Today is June 9th, 2021. Just before we get started, I just wanted to plug a few things. June 26th, we will be having a poetry and music social from 5 to 7. Please contact myself, John Hansboro, or Kevin Curry for details on that. We are looking for vendors and poets and singers of that nature, all of those sorts. All right. So, Ava, where are you from, sweetheart?
So I was originally born in Camden, New Jersey, but I moved to Augusta, Georgia when I was 9. Sorry, I'm so nervous.
It's all right. It's fine.
And now I currently live in South Carolina, so I'm down south now. But I was a city girl at first.
Oh, okay. When I met you, you weren't living here then. You were like visiting or something, I guess.
Yep, I was visiting.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, how long have you been writing poetry or doing spoken word?
I've been pretty much writing all my life. Like when I was little, I would always kind of write my feelings. I was an emotional child. So I would always write my feelings, write how I felt. But I didn't really get serious about it until high school. Because I went to a performing arts high school and I was a part of a group called Indelible Artists, and we did different spoken word events, all kinds of things like that. So it wasn't until high school until I got serious about it.
Gotcha. I understand. And how old are you now?
I'm 19.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're just going to go ahead and get started because the people love to hear when the poets start to spit those bars. So we're going to go ahead and just let you get started. Whenever you're ready, you can just start off with whatever you want.
Okay. Is it okay if I play music in the background? I forgot to ask.
That should be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. Is this something that you made, or is that a music from another artist or something?
It's a song from a different artist. It kind of each poem has a song. It kind of sets the mood for me. So I just play it in the background.
That shouldn't be a problem at all. Go right ahead.
All right. So this first poem is entitled Rose.
Okay.
She picks at her food like she's picking flowers. She's on point for hours, but the pain in her toes can equate to the blows she inflicts on herself to be pretty for every show.
Mm.
She damages her mental for rose petals on the stage. She emulates the swan but embodies the cage. She's never free to fly, so her open sky becomes an empty plate. She's never expressive of her depressive nature. She's cautious of the calories but fearless of the danger. She survives off the butterflies in her stomach. She'll neglect her heart until she's perfected the art of perfection. She prays one day to fulfill her desire within, to be stick thin, deceptive discipline, and roaring hunger. But if she doesn't listen, she'll be convinced that she's finally perfect, that all of the aches and the pain and the tears were all worth it. And until then, her soul will break from dusk till dawn. Her soul is the ultimate sacrifice to be the black swan.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So you have a style. One thing I like about spoken word and poetry, we all have different styles, right? No matter who we are, right? And you have a very laid back, very mellow, cool style to your poetry. It's absolutely wonderful. Where did the inspiration for that poem, Rose, come from?
So, one of my favorite movies is Black Swan, and it's basically about this ballerina. She really like pushes herself to perfect her art, and through doing that, she kind of like put herself in a lot of dangers. You know, she starved herself, she overworked herself, and I got the inspiration from it because as an artist, it's so easy to just push yourself, like to just do the absolute most to be where you want to be. And so, I just saw that film and I saw so much of that in high school, seeing people push themselves and work really hard. I wanted to just kind of talk about the dangers of, you know, going for your dreams because it can be a lot and it can be dangerous when you don't pace yourself and take a break and, you know, just give yourself the freedom to just grow instead of just, you know, keep going, you know.
Right. Absolutely. That's a great advice right there that you just gave out for a lot of people. Because in what we do as poets and writers, I know I do anyway. I'm constantly trying to find the next thing to write about. Like right now, I've been going through a block for the last day or two and it's driving me crazy. You know what I mean? Um, let me see. Okay. So when you were in high school, you were writing poetry in high school, you said? That's when you really started to get serious about it?
Mm,
Is it a for me, poetry is a form of therapy for myself. Okay.
mhm,
When I'm feeling down or when I'm feeling up, it doesn't matter the emotion. I can always come up with something to write
mhm,
based off the emotion that I'm feeling, you know.
mhm.
Um what in your writing, does that help you therapeutically when you write?
Yes, it helps me a lot because, like I said, I don't know if it's because I'm a Cancer, but I'm a very like emotional person, and so sometimes I'll be like feeling so many things and feeling so many emotions, and either I talk about it or I have to write them all out. So writing for me is really therapy because it can give me a space to say things that I don't necessarily say to other people or say out loud. So it's definitely therapy for me. Definitely, you know.
Have you do you do any performing live or do you go to any poetry shows or anything where you're from?
Um in high school I did. Now not so much because, well, one, because of COVID, so it was like a lot of things were happening like online and stuff. And then second, I kind of was in that space too, kind of like a block. Like I kind of had a moment where art was just not doing it for me. I was so focused like in the real world and trying to like think of like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? That I kind of just I gave up on art, you know. But I definitely want to now, and I really want to put myself out there and just see other artists because I think it is important, like supporting artists around you and just knowing that there's somebody next to you, like trying to do the same thing that you're doing, you know.
Yeah,
So
you are absolutely right about that. You really are, and you sound so mature for your age. I tell you that.
thank
But
you.
what you but what you just said though was absolutely right because surrounding yourself with the right people is very is key. It really is key to surround yourself with the right people, like-minded people, people you could feed off of, people that can feed off of you as well. So you all can bounce ideas back and forth. You know what I mean?
Mm.
All right, so we're gonna have you do another poem whenever you're ready. You know, take a deep breath, relax. That first one was absolutely wonderful. I like that, Rose. Oh, before you start the second one, that kind of inspired by Maya Angelou from her poem "Still I Rise"? Actually,
Oh, no, but I do love that one. I do love that one. Yes, but no. Like similar cuz like Cage Bird and things like that. But I love her though. So that's I love that you said that. But
yeah, yeah, that's my favorite one between her and Nikki Giovanni. I love them both. I really do. All right, so whenever you're ready, sweetie, you can go right ahead.
so this next poem is entitled Homebody.
I'm one of those, definitely. I love to be home. Call in number, guys, is 443-297-4753. Call in at any time.
I'm alone. I'm by myself. I am a slave to these four walls. I've become a muse to my own bed, for she promises me an escape from my own head. She promises me the embrace I'm longing for. She fills this emptiness with dreams of what could be my reality. She makes loneliness feel like solitude. She makes everything seem okay just for a little while. But when I awake, I'm reminded that I'm alone. I'm by myself. My eyelids rise, caked with the dreading of sunrise. For this cycle keeps repeating itself, like the shedding of my womb. I dread this ache. I'm battered by this emptiness. My heart is barren. How am I untouched, yet so broken? God, I'm calling to you with my heart wide open. I need a hug. I need something outside of this room. God, I hope you hear me. I can't keep tuning out these sobs. They grow louder than my cry for help. I need you. I need something. I need somebody. I'm alone. Tears streaming down my cheekbone. And no one knows. No one could ever begin to know. My misery is a mystery. The more time I spend in this hellhole, the more I become my shadow self. The more my mind becomes cornered with thoughts of just wanting to dream forever. The more I'm battered with numbness, God help me. Is this the real me? Am I no more than just a homebody?
Hey, oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Wow.
Oh,
First
sorry.
of all, that was wonderful. Second, I love the fact that you brought out that emotion like that. Oh my
Thank you.
goodness. Wow, 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 wow. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to begin. Okay. Um, wow, that was really good. I mean, you almost made me tear up a little bit. I done took my
Oh,
glasses off. Okay. Oh man. Okay. So that was so good, Ava. That sounded like a poem mixed with like a prayer. Like, asking for confirmation, like so many different things. Um, and the fact that you were able to bring out that emotion, that's one thing I love about writing. We could put our rawness into it. You know what I mean? Um, Reciting that poem, what does that do for you?
oh, it. Ooh, sorry.
You're fine. Trust me, you're fine.
It it just it reminds me of that place, like that. It's just I was at a place where I was spending so much time like just by myself, and a lot of us, like, we tend to think like solitude is a great thing. You should be comfortable being by yourself, but nobody talks about like the loneliness that you feel. It's like it starts to drive you crazy, and that's what I started to feel like during quarantine and things like that. I was spending so much time by myself and just in my room, and I wasn't really interacting with people like that. So it was really just, it was really getting to me. So every time I read those words, I remember like that feeling that just, ugh, yeah.
I knew Ava when I met you last week that there was something special about you. I swear I did. I could tell. I really could. Um, yeah, I do. I have one or two poems myself that I have written when I was in a broken place as a grown man, honestly, right? And for me to put down my emotions on paper and then to recite them was a feeling in itself that helped me release what I was dealing with. So I love to write. I love, spoken word. I love poetry. I love studying the different types. Um, and you just, your style was just like you have a voice that's so soothing. It's like
Thank you.
I mean, it really is. It's like the music you listen to when you go for a massage or when you're, something in that nature. But that was really good. I appreciate you bringing that raw emotion into that because that was. Are you an actress as well?
I used to act like just in high school, but now like not so much. But I want to start up again. But yeah, I used to.
Absolutely. I can see the actress in you too. Definitely. I
Yeah.
definitely see that. All right. Well, we'll let you go ahead and give us another poem whenever you're ready. This is your time right now.
All right. So this is a little bit lighter.
Okay.
This poem is entitled Heaven. Heaven is the smell of spring air. Heaven is the sunshine that eases my cloud of mind. Heaven is my brother's uncontrollable giggles from his big sister's tickles. Heaven is a good book. Heaven is an hot oiled scalp. Heaven is the peace that comes when the heart and mind align. Heaven is seeing the cage open and choosing not to stay in. Heaven is a set of mustard yellow roses. Heaven is the sway of the trees. Heaven is the breeze. Heaven is the moment we first said, I love you. Heaven will be the moment we finally say, I do. Heaven will be my baby's smile. Heaven will be my grandbaby's smile. Heaven is mommy's baked salmon and rice. Heaven is New York style pizza from a hole in a wall. Heaven is a successful twist out. Heaven is a new pair of earrings to adorn my spirit. Heaven is my joy when it's free to be a kid again. Heaven is the laugh that makes your stomach hurt. Heaven is 4 o'clock on a long work day. Heaven will be the day I finally forgive my father. Heaven will be the day I finally forgive the world. Heaven will be the day I finally forgive myself. I know this world can feel like hell and things can be rough, but there's a heaven on earth if you look close enough. Heaven, like beauty, is skin deep. And as long as God is within me, I will always know heaven.
Man, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. I love that. That's heaven. Heaven definitely is 4 o'clock on the end of a workday too. You got that right.
Yes.
And you said salmon and rice too, right?
Yes. My
Oh,
mom makes the best. Oh my gosh. It's so good. It's so
really?
good.
What part of you said you're from South Carolina or North Carolina?
South Carolina. I'm living in South Carolina now.
Okay. What part are you in?
I'm in Edgefield.
Okay.
So it's like it's like, I don't know, it's kind of small country, you
Hmm.
know, not much to do, but it's okay.
Do you do a lot of writing? Would you say you write like every day, or how many times would you say you write in a 7-day week?
Um, I would say probably I usually write on the weekends. It really depends, honestly. Like, to be honest, it depends on how the week went. Some
Right.
weeks I won't write at all because I feel fine. I'm like, I don't really have anything to write about. And then other weeks I'm writing pretty much every day, you know. So it depends. It depends.
What poems? Did you recite one of your favorites for us, really? Whenever you get really fast. I know you have one favorite. I don't know if it was the one that you just did or this one because that emotion was so good. And when we are writing from the heart, like that, to me is the best writing in the world. Like it doesn't get any better than that. Being
Yeah.
raw about it, and the fact that you are not afraid to share is awesome too, because that's not easy as well. Sometimes a lot of people are not comfortable with performing or virtually or just saying certain things about them that they might need people to know. But I believe, Ava, in transparency, because
Mm.
other people can learn on our own transparency. Everyone doesn't have to do it, but some people, me, I try to do it a lot. Um, and I feel as though it helps me, and it helps me when I see that I could be helping someone else. If that makes any sense to
Mm.
you, that also gives me a great feeling, you know. So what
Yeah.
is one of your favorite poems that you've written? What would you say is your favorite?
Oh, it's really, really surprisingly, it's really short. But I wrote a poem called Plastic. And it's like a really, really short poem, but it's my favorite because at the time, there's a song called Plastic by Moses Sumney. I hope I'm saying his last name right, but it's just such a good song, and it made me think about, myself, in terms of like sometimes I feel disconnected from myself because on the outside, like I'm a very like happy person and things like that. But sometimes like behind closed doors, I'm really suffering and I'm really just trying to figure everything out. So one of my favorites is like one little small one that I wrote. I think I wrote it in like high school, like a long time ago. But
Okay.
perform
All right.
it?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you're ready, I would love to hear that.
Ooh, okay. All right, let's see. Okay. My wings are made of plastic. They never enable me to fly, but they create the illusion that I levitate to clear skies and not a clouded state of mind.
Wow. Wow. Oh my God. I'm learning a lot from you right now. Wow.
So it's real
Wings of
short.
plastic. Yeah, that was short, but see, it's the word play. It's the things that we say, no
Mhm.
matter the length of it, right? Because there's always something like what you said just now about wings being like plastic. That hit me because sometimes I feel like I'm just in the same space all the
Mhm.
time. Like my wife and myself, we both are performers and do a lot of things together. And it feels like sometimes when I'm just idle and I'm sitting, I feel like I'm not achieving any of the goals that I set, or I'm not, pushing forward like I need to. So with that wings feeling like plastic, like that line right there, is that what you were alluding to? Like you felt like you just couldn't fly, you couldn't, express yourself or be you. Is that what that was about?
It's more of like, so when I see wings, I associate them like heavenly, like angelic. So it's like I have these wings, but they're not authentic to who I am. It just creates this illusion that I'm this person. Like I'm so in this space, but it's an illusion that I levitate to clear sky. So I have it all figured out. I'm okay. Like I don't struggle, but really like it's a clouded state of mind. Like I'm going through so much. I'm thinking these things. So it's really just like they play into this illusion and sometimes like we have illusions of ourselves and it's so different from who we really are. So it's like people see us as one way because we have these things, but they don't realize like that's nowhere near like our reality. So, but yeah.
Wow, that reminds me of a time that I was in dealing with my poetry when I've always been writing, since forever, but when I really buckled down and really got serious about it and used it as a tool to help me heal from some of the things I was dealing with. At that time, I was a leader at the church that I was attending. So I felt like I was John, and then there was another John when I would come home from church and I wanted to write and I wanted to create. It was a block for me at times because there were certain things that I wanted to say and express and words that I wanted to say, and I felt as though it wouldn't be, a good idea, or I would embarrass this person or the next person. But I
Mhm.
had to come to a point of being able to tell my truth. And that's one thing I like
Yes.
about your writing.
Thank you.
That's one thing I like about listening to what you're saying, because you're absolutely telling your truth. You can tell it's nothing is fabricated. It's all coming from your heart. You know what I mean? And I dealt with that for a minute about, like, wow, I want to say this, but I don't want to put it out there. And people be like, oh, I thought he was in church and all of that. And I had to come to the realization that the gift that God gives us is something that we need to use, right?
Mhm.
If you build a relationship with him and talk to whoever your higher being is, right? And
Mhm.
keep that relationship with him as strong as you can, then the things that you go through become a little bit more easier. They did for me anyway, right? I felt more comfortable in my writing because when I would say a poem and I would see the reaction from a person, maybe they would cry or just get happy instantly. That to me was absolutely amazing because I'm like, I can't believe what I wrote made them feel that type of emotion. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you're writing it and you're doubting it, like, I don't know how this sounds. Let me write this way, this way. So, have you ever been in a place where you felt as though you really couldn't express yourself in your writing the way that you wanted to?
Yet I still feel like that because it's
Really?
like I and this is why it's so hard to share certain things because I don't want the people that I love to be worried. I don't want them to be like, "Oh, like did I not know? Like am I not doing enough?" And that's why I was so hesitant to share something like so intimate because it's like it's not that y'all are doing anything. It's just how I feel. Like this is how I'm dealing with life and I'm not handling it that well, you know. So I still feel like that and it's hard because like I said, it's like having people see you one way and then you say how it really is and like, I did not know that. You know, it's kind of scary because it's like you have to live with the fact that these people know your true identity and you have to be confident in that because that's who you are or at least that's a part of you, you know. But it's I still deal with it, you know, just simply because like what I have to say it is really personal and it's not always like happy things. It's not always things that I'm proud of. It's not always things that I want to say happen to me. It's just, you know, that's my reality, you know. And if I could say that, as painful as it is, and as much as it makes me cry, I know that it's going to help somebody else have the courage to say what they need to say so that they can help somebody. And then it just continues, you
Right,
know.
right. That effect just keeps on going. You're absolutely right. I forget what the term is. Pay it forward, something like that. You know what I mean? Um, wow. I would love to hear another poem from you if you have any more. I'm sure you. I know you did.
Let's see. I might have a couple. Let me see. I have like some really old ones from high school. They don't
That's
really.
fine. Whatever you want to share is fine.
Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. I also write like just my stream of conscious. Like I just write random things. Um. So let's see.
When you say you write random things, you mean you just write whatever comes to mind sometimes?
Yeah, like there's this one piece that I wrote, and it's was just I was feeling really sad because like I had to I'm long distance in a long distance relationship, so it was that separation again, and it
Mm.
was really hard. So I wrote just like this blob of things, but I could share it. It's a little cringy, but I could
It's
share it.
fine. It's fine. I would love to hear it.
So it's called The Worst Part. There's an emptiness in my chest. I miss you already. My eyes are sore from crying. I miss you already. I want to cry again, but there's a lot of people in this airport. Mommy called me, worrying if I'm okay. I guess she could hear the truth in my tone of voice when I told her I was okay. I gotta be fake cheerful when I'm home, or else she'll think it's worse than what it is. But I just miss you already. That's the truth. I'm not hungry. I'm not tired. I just hate that I have to adapt to not having you around again. I hate having to adapt to not having your embrace when I really need it. I hate that I have to adapt to being on my own again. I have to adapt to sleeping alone, eating alone, crying alone, going through everything alone all over again. So.
That's that is so good, Ava. Wow. I mean, you really just, I don't know, man. You really have a way of expressing yourself, though. I mean, that can help so many people. It really can help so many people. I feel like your voice and the way that you are can reach a lot. You definitely need to be doing a lot more poetry as much as you can, because
Oh,
you can reach a lot of people. You really can, I believe, though. You can reach a lot of people because, especially in your age bracket, because it's kind of amazing to be sitting here having a conversation with you at 19, and things that you're saying is like you're wise before your time. What's the word? You're wise before your age, or whatever they call it.
thank
But
you.
you definitely are. You can tell that you have a lot of wisdom. Um, by you spending a lot of time alone, do you think that that is one of the main things that fuels your poetry? Because when you write, is it, you did say it's therapeutic for you, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So do you think that that's one of the main things that pushes you to write?
Um. Yes and no, because I feel like everyday things, like even just being outside, like observing people, or like going to work and being frustrated, like all that fuels me too. So it's really just any emotion. So if there's an intense emotion with me being alone, if there's an emotion attached to this rude customer that I had, if it's like this emotion just attached to how I'm feeling in the morning, it's really just anytime I feel an intensity, I just
Mhm.
have to find some type of way to to let it out. So usually it does happen when I'm alone because I am like I do get lonely pretty easily. So that definitely is a good bit that fuels it, but really it's just like everyday emotional stuff, like having to have an outlet outside of just everything else.
Right. That's definitely, so I see what you're saying. That's an outlet for you, though. Is that something that you run to whenever you're having any kind of emotion, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. And also it's more of like I feel like my poems they're usually pretty sad because like my happy things, like I'm okay with expressing that to everyone and like just telling people about it. So that's why like a lot of my poetry is like the sadder things because I don't feel as comfortable like really telling people, which is kind of contradictory because I'm doing that by writing it, but usually just going to other people and just telling them it doesn't feel as good as just saying everything I want to say and like just not holding back, and not having to worry about like, are you okay? And things just, I could be like, I'm over it. So yeah, everyday life.
Right, I understand. I'm gonna have you do one more poem before we get out of here, and then have you share all your information, how people can follow you, things of that nature. I definitely have to have you back on the show. Um, whenever
Okay.
someone, whenever someone comes on, I started this as an open mic in person before COVID, of course. So whenever someone would come and do their poetry with us, they became part of the Spitfire poetry family. So you definitely are a part of a family. By you
You.
being living somewhere that's long distance, you could always reach out to a lot of the poet friends that I have. I'm going to add you into a group that we have. And we like to encourage and help each other sometimes, because we all go through stuff. And with this COVID, it was a lot. It was a lot on everybody. So we'll have you share one more poem and then give you all your information that you can give us.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Hmm. All right. I have a short one that I could share. It's not as long. It's my poems are usually short because
Mhm.
I usually don't write like it's just like small things.
Mhm.
Um, but I could share this short one, or
That's
I could
fine.
try to. Right. This is untitled. I don't know. I was just thinking. I felt weak for crying, but then I remembered even the clouds cry when they can't take the pressure anymore.
Mm.
Even the ocean soaks the sand, sobbing because it's been destroyed by man. Even a single tear flows down a coiled flower. We praise its beauty only to strip it of its roots and dissipate its power. Just small.
But so impactful, though. I mean, wow. You know, you can see once you start to. That's why I could tell that you have some acting in you, because once you get ready to start your reciting your poetry, it's like you take yourself somewhere. It's like you go to a different place or something. You know what I mean? How can everyone follow you and, you know, keep up with you on Instagram or on all of the social platforms that you are on?
So y'all can follow me on Instagram at Ava the Amethyst. Also my Twitter is Ava the Amethyst. I don't know if y'all like Twitter like that, but I am on Twitter. Facebook, just Ava Smith. Trying to think what else I have. I do want to start a YouTube channel soon, just uploading poetry, uploading short films, things like that. Just stuff to express myself. I could be doing hair, anything. So yeah, I do want to start a YouTube, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, just Ava the Amethyst, Instagram, that's like my main outlet. And Twitter. So and Facebook, Ava Smith.
Definitely do it, Ava, because you definitely have a talent. You definitely do. You definitely have a talent, and I believe that you can reach a lot of people. I really do. You know, I believe that, and I say it all the time. With us as poets, we can reach people. You know, we can reach masses with just using our words. You know what I mean? By us expressing ourselves in a certain way and being vulnerable for someone else to see our true self can help them in a way that's absolutely amazing. So I commend you on what you're doing and how you do it. Continue to do it. Please do not stop.
Thank
I will
you.
be contacting you because you are a part of the Spitfire family. So I'll definitely have to have you on the show again. Do you write with your poems? Have you written a book, or are you having plans to write a book or anything like that?
Actually, no. One of my closest friends, she wrote a book. Shout out to Isolated Beauty. I don't know if she's on here, but she is phenomenal and she inspires me in so many ways. And I was thinking about writing a book, but I was like, I don't really know. But I mean, we'll see. I don't
What's
know.
her name again? You said what's her name?
Isolated Beauty.
Isolated Beauty. Shout out to her. That's a friend of yours that you follow.
Yes.
Okay, she's a poet as well.
Yes. She dances, models, everything. Like she's incredible. But yeah, she does a bit of everything.
That is awesome. Well, if she's watching, I would love to have her on the show at some point as well.
Okay.
Do you dance? That's another thing. I see a dancer in you. Do you dance too?
No.
No, you don't. No.
No. Mm-mm.
Wow. Well, I commend you on what you do, Ava. I appreciate you for coming on. I know you
Thank
were nervous,
you.
but you couldn't tell. You know, you couldn't tell.
Thank
I believe
you.
when we're, you know, when we are in our true self, expressing ourselves in our truest form, of the gift that God has given us, like there is no nervousness in that. You may feel nervous before you go on, but once you start and those words start to come out, he gives you everything else. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, Ava, for coming on. You're
Thank
absolutely
you.
wonderful. Keep up the great work. Keep doing what you're doing. Be inspired and be encouraged. And no matter what you go through, put it on paper. Put it on paper because that'll help you get through all of the things that you may think that you can't get through, because we can get through just about anything. He's not going to give us anything that we can't do, right?
Right, right.
I appreciate you for having us. Or anything else you want to say before we go?
Thank y'all for watching. That's all. But thank y'all so much for giving me this space and thank you for this opportunity. Like I haven't performed in so long, so I was feeling really nervous, but I really appreciate you and your words and everything that you're doing. Like I feel like art is so important, especially like for young people. Like we need to be able to express ourselves and to just say what we want to say, you know. So thank you so much for this whole experience. So
Absolutely,
thank
sweet.
you.
The pleasure is absolutely mine, definitely. Um, and to anyone else that's watching, any poets, any performers, hit me up at any time. I need as many poets that I can get on the show. And Ava, we will have you back soon. Say hello to your friend and his mom for me, and you be safe and stay safe out here.
All right, I will.
All right.
Oh,
All
wait, how
right.
do I?
You just
Oh,
hit the leave button. That's all right. You just hit the leave button.
okay, okay.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Bye, Ava. Wow, guys, that was Ava Smith. That was Ava Smith. I met that young lady I would say like 2 weeks ago. I was doing a video with a friend of mine at Graffiti Alleyway. And shout out to Heavy, shout out to Sean Heavy. And I was in John Evans, photographer. I was reciting my poetry, and Ava and a friend of hers and their mom um, was in the alley doing pictures, I guess, or I don't know if they were meeting someone there for something to do with art. But we started up a conversation, and when I found out that Ava was a poet, I could just see I don't even know, I could just see the something in her um, that I knew it would be good. And I love to have young people on to express themselves in any way. So that is our show for tonight, guys. I have to be on another show at 8 o'clock. Shout out to Daryl and Kendall on the Real Relationship Show. I want to thank my sister, Lady J Jenkins. All right. Make sure you put some respect on that name, Dr. Lady J Jenkins. Shout out to Eric. Shout out to all the hosts at What Up Baltimore Online Radio. I love you guys. Everyone stay safe out here. I want to each show I'm trying to let you all know about some awesome authors and poets that I've met over the years. I was at a wonderful book expo. Shout out to Tia Hamilton and Urban Reads Bookstore. Y'all go check that store out. She had a wonderful book expo, and I met a lot of wonderful people there. And there's one book that I would like to show you guys. This is called Rap Goals. All right. This is called Rap Goals. This is by Darrell Howell. Darrell Howell. So you want to follow him. He's on, I'm sure his book is on Amazon. And there's a lot of other awesome authors that were at that expo. And I'm going to get all of that information so I can share their book on the upcoming shows. Okay. So with that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate you for watching. My next show will be next Wednesday, the Unusual Favor Show with my wife and Shalonda Hansboro. We'll be here from 7 to 8. And then on June 23rd, I will have Kiana Roy and shout out to Desmond Guy on the Spitfire Poetry Shutdown podcast. I can't wait for that. That's going to be a good show. Kiana Roy and Desmond Guy on June 23rd. You want to check that out. Everyone be safe out here. Be vigilant. You see something, say something. And if you would like to stay blessed, you have to bless other people. If you don't bless anybody else, how are you going to be blessed? You got to bless somebody else. All right. Have a good night. Love you guys.